The Hudson River, 2 years ago. We had classified intelligence that a new type of metal gear was scheduled for transport. The whole thing stank, but our noses had been out in the cold too long.
Our boy, he's right on schedule. He'll know soon enough.
This is Snake. Do you read me, Otacon?
Loud and clear, Snake.
Kept you waiting, huh? I'm at the sneak point.
Everything going okay?
Stealth camo's busted. Landing impact.
We must have overused it. Sorry, but you're gonna have to deal with it. You're not in the military anymore.
Right. I didn't plan on relying on this gadget anyway.
The private sector's not so bad, is it? Privacy guaranteed?
I'm happy as long as no one gives me any more unwanted gifts.
You mean that thing with Naomi?
And I can't say I miss the chattering nanny.
Mei Ling's not so bad. That reminds me, I have to get in touch with her again about that new Natick flashware.
Diverting toys from the SSCEN again? But give her a message from me. Someone will find out, sooner or later. She's better off assuming it's sooner and quit while she's safe.
Too true. Okay, Snake, let's get to work. You know how the technical specs of Metal Gear were sold on the black market after Shadow Moses?
All Ocelot's doing.
Exactly. And now every state, group, and .com has its own version of Metal Gear.
Not exactly a classified weapon for today's nuclear powers.
This new one seems to have been designed to wipe the floor with all the other models. The only consistent description is that it's an amphibious, anti-Metal Gear vehicle.
That explains why this one is under Marine Corps jurisdiction.
The mission objective is to make visual confirmation of the new Metal Gear being transported by that tanker and bring back photographic evidence. But I want you first to go up to the top level of the infrastructure, to the bridge. We need to find out where the tanker is headed.
A little reconnaissance, huh?
There's too much we don't know about this new prototype. Capabilities, deployment method. We don't even know how close it is to completion. If we know where the testing arena is, I can start to draw some reasonable conclusions.
All right, I'll head to the bridge ASAP.
Try to avoid confrontations. Our goal is to collect evidence on Metal Gear development and expose it to the world. It would be best if you could get out of there without alerting anyone.
Don't worry, I know the drill. We're not terrorists.
Very good. Don't you forget that you're part of Philanthropy now, an anti-Metal Gear organization and officially recognized by the UN.
Recognized, but still fringe, Otacon.
All right, let's look at your gear. Your weapon is a tranquilizer gun converted from a Beretta M92F.
M9.
It's a little hard to work with because you have to reload after each shot since the slide locks.
Better than scavenging at the mission site. Good suppressor, too.
The chemical stun will take effect in a few seconds and last for hours. You can take down an elephant with that thing. Check out the laser sighting, too. The effects of the anesthetic round will vary depending on what part of the body is hit. We're talking about a difference of tens of seconds between hitting limbs, chest, or head. As for the equipment... Hey, Snake? Cigarettes? What's wrong with you?
It's kind of a lucky charm.
You haven't read the Surgeon General's warning, have you? Here's the digital camera. Works almost the same way as your old one.
They don't look armed.
Hey, Earth to Snake. These are nice, upstanding Marines, not terrorists. Don't get caught. You're in stealth mode here.
Sure, and if it comes to that, a little beauty sleep never hurt anyone. By the way, Otacon, are you sure of this intelligence?
Absolutely. Hacked it out of the Pentagon's classified files myself.
No traces?
Oh, please, I'm too good for that.
But this might be a trap. Remember, there's a price on our heads.
You're just being paranoid.
I hope so. Those men, you wouldn't think they were anything but civilians from here.
With all the ships passing on the river and in the harbor, putting uniformed Marines on the deck would be a bad idea. People can get a clear view of the water from Riverside, too.
The water line is too high. According to the navigational plans, this ship should have discharged its cargo upriver.
It's in there, no doubt about it.
The military trains you to watch for threats from the stern on a boat. That's SOP for counter-terror ops, too. Security should be tighter.
You worry too much.
Where's the target?
Satellite surveillance is a major international pastime these days. I'd say the cargo holds, safely below the deck. Do you see the entrance to the holds?
Looks like there are a few entryways into the crew quarters. The chopper. What? Looks like we're not the only ones after Metal Gear tonight.
Is that a chopper I just heard?
Affirmative. Probably another cavalry. What's their game? Hijack?
They're probably targeting the ship's controls.
Otacon, how many men do you need to take over a tanker of this size?
The ship is run by a computer, so I'd say about 18 people.
AKS 74U. Russians?
You sure?
No marine barber touched that head of hair. I'm transmitting a photo. Let's get an ID on him ASAP.
I'm on it.
Looks like the tanker's theirs now. K-60 Kasatka.
Kasatka? Kamarov chopper, right? Killer whale.
We need to get a fix on who they are.
Judging by their transport, aren't they some kind of military commandos?
Not necessarily. It could be the KA-62, the civil model.
Look, Snake, all we need is the photographic evidence of Metal Gear. As long as we have those, we can put it online and blow the whole thing wide open. So no pyrotechnics, okay?
All right. I'll do my best.
This isn't like Shadow Moses. Reach me if anything happens. The frequency's 141.12.
How can I check in and save my progress?
I'll do it. There's a frequency set aside for it. 140.96. Sorry, but no Mei Ling this time. Call me on the codec when you want to save.
Got it.
I'll be waiting just past the Verrazano Bridge. You need to be off that ship by then.
I'll be in touch.
Snake, switch to first-person view and look at the upper decks. See the sentries? Take them out in first-person view before they see you. Change to first-person view with a weapon selected. Once you aim your weapon with the weapon button, you're ready to attack in first-person view. Using the first-person attack allows you to shoot high or low. You can aim for the enemy's head or even feet. The L2 and R2 buttons let you strafe during first-person attacks. You can crouch too with the crawl button. Once you've mastered all the moves, you'll be able to do things like jump out from concealment, fire at a target, and then drop out of the enemy's view again. What you're wielding right now is a converted Beretta M92F, designed to fire tranquilizer rounds. A direct hit will knock the target unconscious. Think of those rounds as tiny syringes. The impact of the round causes the mixing of two chemicals in the shell. The resulting gas compresses a tiny piston and injects the tranquilizer in the bullet's tip into the target's skin. The tranquilizer's effects are felt at different times depending on where the bullet lands. A head or heart shot will take effect immediately, but a round that hits somewhere like feet or hands will take a while. Use the first-person view attack for maximum accuracy. The gun is fitted with a suppressor, so there's no need to worry about alerting the enemy with the noise. But since it is a tranquilizer gun, the M9 has its limitations. All it can do is knock the enemy unconscious. Keep that in mind. Snake, are you smoking? You really should quit. First of all, it turns you into an instant target in the dark. As for what it means to your health, I won't even go there. Remember what Naomi said about lung cancer rates? Everyone knows that it's a dangerous substance.
So's war, and I've done that all my life.
Well, you can screw up your own body if you like, but think about other people, okay?
This is the new kind that has almost no secondhand smoke. It won't bother anyone.
Oh, really? Didn't I see you toss the butt off the bridge? Littering, polluting. You have a long way to go, my friend.
Snake, you need to get to the bridge on the top level of the infrastructure. First, find a door that leads into the tanker's interior and infiltrate the ship. Snake, don't let the enemy spot you. Once you've been discovered by a sentry, he'll call in reinforcements and there will be an attack. Even you're no match for that level of organized assault. They have better weapons too, remember? We aren't terrorists, okay? Avoid unnecessary confrontations and go for total stealth, all right? As soon as you're spotted by an enemy soldier, he'll call for backup on his radio. The search party that's going to show up as a result is a tough bunch. For one thing, they have better equipment, like body armor. But the main thing is that they're highly trained in search and destroy types of activities. They'll come as a team and attack as a team. Don't try to take them straight on. If you're spotted, you need to stop the sentry from calling for backup. Take him down before he has the chance to use the radio. You can also break out the chaff grenade and interfere with the message transmission to prevent any alerts from being issued. If you take out the radio, the sentry will have no way of calling for help. Radios are worn behind the right hip. You should be able to target it in first-person view. If he does manage to call for backup, get yourself in deep hiding before they arrive. Push the action button near a scalable railing to hang off the other side. This is called hanging. You can use it to move around, hide, and even maneuver around an enemy's back. You can move the left stick or use the L2 and R2 buttons to move left and right while hanging. When you're ready to pull yourself up, just push the action button again. A grip gauge appears below the life gauge during hanging. The grip gauge indicates how tightly you're holding on and steadily decreases as long as you're in hanging mode. When the grip gauge goes to 0, you won't be able to hold on anymore. You need to hoist yourself up before you fall off. Push the crawl button while hanging to jump down straight below. If the ground is too far below, you'll lose some life. In some places, you won't make it at all. Be careful of that. If it's about waist high, you'll be able to climb up or over things with the action button. Keep that in mind. When you're flattened against a surface behind a corner, you're in corner view. You'll be able to survey the area without exposing yourself. The corner view lets you take a look ahead with the L2 and R2 buttons, or you can jump out with your weapon ready. Take advantage of all the action. Push the L2 or R2 button while in corner view to move your head and take a quick look in that direction. You'll be able to see farther in corner view, but there's a greater chance of being discovered. Keep that in mind. Move the right stick while in corner view to look in that direction. The difference between this and using left step and right step buttons is that you won't be exposing yourself to possible enemy fire. At the same time, because you're staying in the same position, your range of vision is more limited. If you have a weapon selected while in corner view, push the weapon button to jump out of concealment and aim your weapon. You can use this while you're standing or crouching. It should help during gunfights. Bodies can be moved to another location by dragging. First, make sure no weapon is selected. Then push the weapon button near the body to grab it. As long as you have a hold on the body, you'll be able to drag it. Let go of the weapon button when you're done. It's a bad idea to leave enemies where they've fallen. Hide the bodies to make sure no one sees them. I recommend you hide the enemy's body as soon as you've taken them down. The tranquilized and unconscious enemies will wake up sooner or later. As for soldiers you've killed, the body will become too stiff to move in a short while. Keep that in mind. You can also hide the enemy's body in a locker. All you have to do is open the locker and drag the body there. Snake, if you sustain damage from enemy attacks, it could increase your chances of capture. The bloodstains would lead them right to you, and that's another reason you should stay away from trouble as much as possible. According to intelligence, this new model was designed to combat all the clone models of Metal Gear floating around in the world. Ocelot sold the Metal Gear specs to anyone with hard cash after he survived Shadow Moses.
And raked in enough money to buy a decent-sized country in the process.
But was money really Ocelot's end objective?
You think he had a deeper plan?
I do. Nothing definite, but acquiring a large sum of money is always a good starting point for another project. Anyway, every country that paid off Ocelot is racing to produce its own bipedal tank, one that can launch the so-called invisible nuclear warhead. If the whole world has a Metal Gear, the military dominance of the US will disappear. In a world where Metal Gear has become commonplace, the only way to regain the upper hand is to possess a weapon even more powerful than Metal Gear.
And that means a new Metal Gear.
Exactly. The arms race must go on. If your life gauge is down to the point where it's red, the bleeding won't stop. As long as you're bleeding, your life gauge will keep dropping gradually. Besides that, the bloodstains could put the enemy on your trail. The only way to stop the bleeding for good is to let your body recover until the life gauge is green. Rations are the best way to do that. Try to crouch down or assume crawl position and stay still while you're bleeding. Your life will recover bit by bit. I'd recommend that you stay in hiding until the bleeding stops, if possible. Snake, the M9's anesthetic rounds have different effects depending on where it hits. If you manage to land them on the head or the heart area, the enemy will go down immediately. If it's hands or feet, it may take a while for the anesthetic to take effect. Try using the first-person view to aim with higher accuracy. Aim the gun and push the L1 button to automatically lock onto the target. You can use this feature from first-person view or from top view as well. Push the crawl button as you're running to go into a tumble and a forward roll. Make good use of it, maybe when you need to move from cover to cover quickly. If you tilt the left stick at a smaller angle, you'll be able to walk more slowly and stealthily. Speed isn't everything. Try moving over noisy surfaces this way. You can hold someone at gunpoint by getting behind his back with your gun ready. What you choose to do with a hostage, making no resistance after that, is up to you. You can aim the handgun with the weapon button, then lower it without firing if you let go of the button slowly. It saves ammunition, and besides, it could be useful after you've disarmed an enemy at gunpoint. These aren't sentries you're dealing with. They're searching for you, and they know you don't want to be found. You can't make some feeble attempt at concealment. Make sure you're completely hidden in some place they wouldn't think of searching. The Metal Gear that the tanker is transporting is being developed under Marine Corps jurisdiction. But I've also heard a rumor that the Navy is working on its own Metal Gear.
Any more info on the Navy's model?
I tried to hack some out, but security was too tight. There's a lot of money being allocated, that's for sure. But every one of my investigations takes me to one name, then hits a brick wall. The name is the Patriots.
Who are they?
I wish I knew. I have no idea if this is an individual or an organization even. But once we expose the presence of this Marine Corps Metal Gear to the world, maybe that will shake the Patriots out of the tree. This mission is partly about that too. Whenever you see an item box, you should acquire it. Take a closer look to see what the item is. When you take out an enemy, move his body out of the way and check for an item box. Don't leave it behind. Snake, when I have something urgent to tell you, I'll raise you on the codec. When you see the call sign, hit the select button to receive, all right? You'll be less likely to be spotted in the dark, but this won't work during a clearing, so I recommend you try something else. Snake, in some locations, the lighting makes your shadow longer and more noticeable. The enemy might spot your shadow, so you want to watch out. Turns and corners are especially dangerous, but the same holds for the enemy. If you spot someone's shadow ahead, you can avoid unnecessary risks. Don't break things if you can help it. Any sign of infiltration will put the enemy on a lookout. Exercise caution. Even if you've successfully thrown the enemy off your trail, don't ever relax your guard once you've been spotted. They'll be looking for you, and security will be tighter. Don't underestimate what you're up against. If you're spotted and it comes down to an exchange of gunfire, don't stand out in the open. Find cover ASAP. Strafe and stretch up from your concealed position to get a good shot on target first-person view. But if they come at you in droves, even you won't be able to fend them off. You need to avoid discovery at all costs. The handgun ammunition and other live rounds have different effects depending on where the bullet hits. If you hit the hand, the enemy won't be able to use it, and a round to the leg and feet will take away their mobility. If you manage to land them on the head or the heart area, the enemy will go down immediately. Destroy the radio on their right hip to the back to prevent the enemy from calling for backup. Use the first-person view when you need to aim accurately. Snake, don't just take out enemies and leave them there. That's a bad idea. Finding their dead friends on the ground will probably make sentries raise an alarm. Once you've dealt with someone, put the body somewhere out of sight.
As long as you have no weapon selected, you can throw an enemy with the weapon button and the left stick. Just get in close and hit those controls at the same time.
They'll be down on the ground afterwards, and you may even be able to knock them unconscious. The other attack option when you're unarmed is the chokehold.
Move in close to the enemy from behind and push the weapon button without moving the left stick.
Hit the weapon button repeatedly to break the enemy's neck. Keep it pushed down if you want to move around and drag him away with you. Remember, you can only do this from the back. You can't perform a chokehold while facing someone. Be careful.
Move the left stick toward a wall and keep it there to flatten yourself against the wall.
Push the punch button while in that position to knock on the wall and create a diversion. If you plan carefully, you'll be able to lure sentries away from their posts. After pushing the crawl button in hanging mode and falling, if you see a good handhold, try pushing the action button. If you hit it just right, you should be able to grab on. It won't matter if your direction's off a little bit. Experiment with it. When you're springing up from hanging mode with the action button, you can use the momentum to knee someone. If you see an enemy walking near the railings, give it a try. Select the grenade when you take a peek. You can then use the weapon button to throw the grenade while taking cover behind objects. If you get lucky, you could seize an item from someone after you hold them up. There's some items you can only acquire from holdups. If you've got the time, try it out. I recommend you hide the enemy's body as soon as you've taken them down. The tranquilized and unconscious enemies... Do you want to save, Snake? Snake, you of course know the saying, one for all for one?
What is this all of a sudden?
Oh, I figured you'd need a lot of motivation, so I came prepared. It's from the Three Musketeers. The book, not the candy bar. Anyway, it means that if you go up against everyone by yourself, they'll gang up on you too, I think. Since you're on your own on that ship, you need to take this to heart and avoid confrontations. How was that? Just like the old days, huh?
Almost reminds me of Mei Ling. But you sure you got it right?
Of course. And I'll teach you a lot more of these. You can count on it.
Great.
You're using the anti-personnel sensor, I see. It measures the electromagnetic fields and heartbeat of life forms and converts the data into vibrations. If an enemy draws near, it will vibrate. The stronger the vibration, the closer the enemy is. But remember, And using the anti-personnel sensor, you'll only be able to feel the vibrations coming from the sensor. Snake, you need to get to the bridge on the top level of the infrastructure. First, find a door that leads into the tanker's interior and infiltrate the ship.
Move the right stick while in corner view.
I'll explain how to use the camera. That digital camera you have was specially made to take pictures of the prototype Metal Gear. When a picture is taken, the screen data is first stored in the camera's internal memory. Then it's automatically processed through various algorithms to protect against tampering. Each picture is electronically stamped and distinctively encrypted. So in the off chance that someone alters the data during transmission, we'll know immediately. Oh, there's a limit to the internal memory's capacity. If the memory becomes full, overwrite the pictures you don't need anymore. When you're ready to take a shot, use the L1 and R1 buttons to scroll left or right among the picture previews at the bottom of the screen.
Move the right stick
Freeze!
You've picked up gel bandages, I see. When you're bleeding, select the bandage as an equipment to stop the blood. The bandage is a type of alginate dressing. It's a highly absorbent pad that gels blood and other fluids on contact. It releases calcium ions during absorption, hence the coagulating effect. So, you've got rations now. These are military food supplies and allow you to recover some life with use. If it is equipped in advance, the ration will automatically be used and life will be regained when you receive damage. You can select it in the window and push the confirmation button to use the item on the spot. Rations were designed to be carried and eaten on the field. They're all about functionality and calories. They use special freeze-drying methods developed by the NROC. They're compact, portable, and last for weeks. Snake, go through that door into the ship's interior. Push the action button down in front of the door and wait until the door opens before letting go. If you need to open the door faster, hit the action button repeatedly while you turn the handle. Make sure you keep doing it until the door's open. You have pentazamine in your inventory. If you need to take some, select it in the item window and push the enter button. Pentazamine is a mild tranquilizer used to treat clinical depression, obsessive compulsive behavior, and anxiety. It belongs to the benzodiazepinate family, and along with its antidepressant and anti-anxiety qualities, it suppresses convulsions. Take it when you have a tough shot ahead with a sniper rifle, and you need to minimize shakiness. But I guess you don't have one of those yet. Well, you can also try some if you're feeling really seasick.
Otacon, I took the pentazamine and you're right. The seasickness is gone.
Wow, really?
What do you mean, really? You said...
Drugs are mostly about placebo effect. If you believe it's effective, it is. You're more naive than I thought.
Freeze.
Don't kill me. Oh!
Snake, in some locations, the lighting makes your shadow longer and more noticeable. Snake, go to the bridge first and find out where this ship is headed. The bridge is on the top level. Go up. I recommend you hide the enemy's body as soon as you've taken them down.
Time to save? Okay, there's a saying that goes, even a bird on high dies a glutton's death, as do the fish of the deeps. The lesson is, don't be greedy. The fish that belonged to a family called the Deeps died from overfeeding, and so did a bird that got high on something, probably fermented fruit.
Okay, if you say so.
I do, Snake. Don't take unnecessary risks just because you're greedy for more items. Remember the Deep family's fish.
Freeze.
Don't kill me.
Freeze.
Oh, you need to save? Just a second. Another Chinese proverb. Those who look to the heavens prosper. Those who defy it are no more. Do you know this one? The meaning here is... hold on a sec. That you can only survive as long as you're a part of the natural order of things. You remember pre-ripped jeans? Manufacturers thought that just because people loved old, broken-in jeans, they would want to buy new jeans that looked old. So they purposefully...
What do jeans have to do with nature and order?
Denim should fray and rip on its own, naturally, right? Some designers tried to go against that and no one bought them. The earnings report from that fiscal year is enough of a proof.
Earnings?
Snake, there's a surveillance camera in place. Once you're in its field of view, an alarm will go off. You can't afford to be seen. You can also use the chaff grenade to set up some electronic interference. The camera will be ineffective for a while. There's a blind spot right beneath the camera. Use it to buy some time. Snake, there's a surveillance camera in place. That must be the crew lounge. The tanker's crewmen would relax here when they're off shift. There's a lot of stuff there. Make sure you don't move it around too much. Someone may notice that it's been tampered with. Leave no traces. That's common sense when infiltrating a target, right? You'll be less likely to be spotted in the dark, but this won't work during a clearing, so I recommend you try something else.
Oh, Snake, you want to save? Hey, Snake, what's hardest won, most easily lost? It's time, get it? Amazing how relevant these Chinese proverbs still are. Once the moment's gone, it's gone. Except for daylight savings time, of course. That extra hour to do anything you like with every autumn. Gotta love it. Then again, you lose an hour every spring, so I guess the proverbs are right. Wow, they thought of everything.
Did they even have daylight savings back then?
Of course not. They knew how to save time. We're the ones that need to be tricked into it.
Yeah, but you said...
The moment never returns, Snake. Let's not waste it on idle questions.
Okay. Freeze.
Hey, you have a chaff grenade. You can use that to interfere with enemy radio communications and electronic devices for a short time. The chaff grenade is a weapon that disperses aluminum foil or metal-coated glass and plastic fibers to confuse the enemy radar. What you have is a portable application of the chaff launchers built into fighter planes. When detonated, the grenade releases tiny chaff pieces as well as miniaturized active jammers using a small amount of explosives. The grenade can't create full-scale chaff corridors or chaff clouds, but will form a radar cross-section area large enough for single personnel use. This weapon is for electronic interference only, though. It has no effect on enemy personnel. When the photos are in, we'll put them online and blow this whole thing wide open on the web.
Don't you think that the authorities will just shut us down?
Probably, but it won't matter. There'll be mirror sites spawning within minutes after those images go up. We won't even have to ask. People will be grabbing the pictures. There's no way anyone can stop it. Information has a life of its own, and as long as it lasts, it'll keep existing, even if it has to change its form or location.
Life.
Yeah, the desire of people to learn, the demand for data.
That's called idle curiosity in my book.
Everyone's got some of that, and sometimes it can pave the way for truth. That's what I believe. I recommend you hide the enemy's body as soon as you've taken them down. The tranquilized and unconscious enemies will wake up sooner or later. As for soldiers you've killed, the body will become too stiff to move in a short while. Keep that in mind.
Freeze.
What are you?
The stun grenade in your equipment is for incapacitating enemies without killing them. Stun grenades are non-lethal weapons that knock out enemy personnel with an intense flash of light and a burst of sound. Once the grenade is airborne, a timed detonator ejects an internal cartridge using a small amount of explosives. The cartridge then explodes and releases a flash rated at over 1 million candle power, with an accompanying bang of over 200 decibels. The combinations of the flash and the bang temporarily overwhelms human sensory perceptions. There are no projectiles released, so it can only knock out enemies, not wound them. Keep that in mind. Push the crawl button while hanging to jump down straight below. If the ground is too far below, you'll lose some life. In some places, you won't make it at all. Be careful of that. If you
tilt the left stick at a smaller angle, you'll be able to walk more slowly and stealthily.
Speed isn't everything. Try moving over noisy surfaces this way.
Raven?
Freeze! Don't kill me!
Snake, go to the bridge first and find out where this ship is headed. The bridge is on the top level. Go up. Snake, the M9's anesthetic rounds have different effects depending on where it hits. You'll be less likely to be spotted in the dark. Snake, wait! Don't move!
I see it. Some kind of device on both sides of the hall. Infrared sensors?
Right, and they're linked to...
Let me guess. Semtex.
Exactly. Plastic explosives. If you trip the sensors...
I'll be sleeping with the fishes, along with this entire ship.
That sounds about right. There There aren't that many infrared beams. Maybe you can get past those without setting off the explosives. If you need to see exactly where the beams are, you can use the usual method. There's a fire extinguisher over there. Break it open and try scattering some of the extinguishing chemicals. Snake, that's the pantry where they keep the food supplies. Huh, lots of cardboard boxes. You could probably use one to blend in and avoid being discovered.
Oh, Snake, you want to save? The Chinese have a saying, "Those who are lost never question a path, and a drowning man doubts not the shallows." And it means that you need to make use of other people's help, otherwise you could be in trouble. If you're lost, you don't even know whether a road you come across is a right one. And, what's the difference between shallow and deep if you've already drowned, right? Anyway, the point is that help is always a good thing to accept, so make good use of the codec.
Look, this stuff seems nothing like what Mei Ling used to talk about.
Hey, she couldn't do better herself.
Ugh.
Using the old cardboard box trick, huh? Looks good on you, Snake. Camouflage is the best way to slip past enemy surveillance. But cardboard is just paper when it comes down to it. It won't withstand any serious assault for long. Don't rely on the trick too many times either, and I recommend you keep it dry.
Freeze.
Are you going to shoot me?
Snake, go to the bridge first and find out where this ship is headed. The bridge is on the top level. Go up.
More! If you're going to shoot, then shoot me.
So he was about to have dinner.
And got a bullet in the head instead. Poor bastard.
That must be the mess hall.
It's pretty small considering the size of the ship.
I guess modern tankers are so automated that you only need a crew of about 20. That's not a lot to feed. There's a lot of things there, but make sure you don't disturb anything and leave traces. The enemy might notice. Whenever you see an item box, you should acquire it. Take a closer look to see what the item is. When you take out an enemy, move his body out of the way and check for an item box. Don't leave it behind.
Who's that?
Enemy sighted. Enemy sighted. Enemy sighted. Enemy sighted. Requesting.
What's going on? Respond!
So it is the Kasaka. Russian choppers.
Snake, did you find out where that ship is headed?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. 35 degrees longitude, latitude around 58.
More than 500 miles off the coast of the Bermudas, out in the middle of the Atlantic. So the prototype is ready for solo testing. It's basically combat worthy. That area is outside the Second Fleet's operational range, too. It must be a standalone Marine Corps project, which means this prototype Metal Gear must be designed for independent deployment without any naval assistance. Anyway, analysis can wait till later. Snake, you need to go down to the holds and locate the actual metal... There's something about that soldier who was standing outside the infrastructure. I think you should check it out. Use the hatch on the port side of the infrastructure to get out onto the navigational deck. That's where you need to go.
So that's the Ka-60 Kasatka, a multi-purpose military helicopter built by Kamov, the Russian aerospace firm. It adapts to a variety of missions: troop and weapons transport, medevac, target marking for attack choppers, even all-weather surveillance missions. It uses Fenestron-type tail rotors. That's what makes the distinct rotor sound that you picked up. It is a Russian helicopter, but we can't be sure that the hijackers are Russian military. After all, Kamov did make a civilian version, the Ka-62. And there's also the Ka-64, the export model. This is the bridge, but it's not just a place where you steer the ship. In a modern tanker, navigational, engine control, communication, and all other major operational functions are consolidated in the bridge. The ship is autopiloted via a global positioning satellite system. This is a precision instrument we're talking about here, so it's probably best to leave it alone. If you get lucky, you could seize an item from someone after you hold them up. There's some items you can only acquire from holdups. If you've got the time, try it out. Snake, the M9's anesthetic rounds have different effects depending on where it hits. If you manage to land them on the head or the heart area, the enemy will go down immediately. If it's hands or feet, it may take a while for the anesthetic to take effect. Try using the first-person view to aim with higher accuracy. Time to save? Okay, see you, Snake.
Shalashaska has landed. I'm on my way to the tanker holds. Report your status.
Control room, communications, and engine room are under control. All entry and exit points to the tanker hold secured. Infrared sensors placed and operational.
Good work. Are the explosives in place?
Yes, they are all planted.
Listen, once we have what we came for, the tanker will be scuttled.
And the vehicle's pilot.
He's the only one who underwent the VR training. No one else can do it.
Are you sure you can trust him?
Your part in the mission is complete. You are to leave at once.
No, it's not over yet.
I can see the moon, even in this storm, pale as death. I have a bad feeling about this mission. You swore this to me, that you would leave the unit once the mission was complete. Do not worry, this is a country of liberty.
No, this is where I belong, with the unit. I have nowhere else to go. Father, I want to stay and fight.
There is no choice to make here, Olga. Need I remind you that you are carrying my grandchild? You will be on the helicopter out of here now.
Damn it.
Freeze! Hands over your head, now! Toss your gun overboard, slowly. A woman. Show your face.
You men, you're all the same.
Who are you?
We are nomads, wanderers.
I said don't move.
Americans. So you shoot women too.
I'm a nomad too. What else do you have there? Take the knife and toss it. Not there. Toss it overboard. Hold that position. Now, turn around.
You know what you're doing. It stopped raining. Not too shabby, is it? New York, I mean. And that brings our tour to its conclusion.
Scout knife with a surprise. You a Spetsnaz?
I think you deserve a little credit. No one's ever dodged that shot of mine. But no one gets lucky twice, either.
Snake, you're not the only one with a gun. If you don't take cover, you'll get hurt. Hide behind something. She may be hiding too, but you have a clear shot whenever she decides to attack. Use the first-person view attack. Snake, she's shooting from concealment. You should use the first-person view attack. Push the R1 button to change to first-person view. Then use the weapon button to raise the gun, and you can attack from that viewpoint. Push the L2 and R2 buttons while in first-person view to strafe left and right. Push the L2 and R2 buttons at the same time to stretch up on your toes while still in first-person view. These moves can be useful. Snake, use the corner view to watch for a chance to attack while hidden. Push the R2 or L2 button while in corner view to take quick looks out.
You can also move the right stick while in corner view to survey other directions.
If you have a weapon selected, push the weapon button while in corner. If you use a first-person view attack, you should be able to strike from between containers. You'll have an element of surprise on your side. The handgun's effects vary depending on where you manage to land a shot. Aim for the head for the highest degree of damage. Need to save, right, Snake? Snake.
I've been with the unit since I was born. I grew up on the battlefield. Conflict and victory were my parents. The unit is my life, my family. We've shared everything, all the bad and all the good. I have no one, nothing except the unit. Nothing else matters to me. Whoever you are, you're not stopping us.
Otacon, the ship appears to be under their control. The men have Russian gear, but I haven't been able to find out anything else about their origin.
I know who they are.
You do?
We've ID'd the old man,
Who is he?
Sergei Gerlukovich.
Gerlukovich, one of Ocelot's allies.
Yeah, the GRU colonel. He's the one Ocelot was supposed to meet up with after Shadow Moses.
They're after Metal Gear.
Everything's changed. This is not going to be as simple as we thought.
You could say that. I saw a surveillance remote just now. It looked like the Cypher.
A Marine Cypher T?
No, Army.
First the Marines, then the Russians, now the Army?
You're right. This isn't gonna be simple.
Snake, there's something I have to tell you.
What?
We didn't dig up this info about the new Metal Gear on our own. Not like usual.
How did you find out then?
It was a tip. An anonymous tip.
Anonymous? You've never trusted those. Why would you start now?
I have a younger sister, a stepsister. We have different parents. I only knew her for 2 years.
You've never mentioned her before. So?
The sender of the tip was EE.
EE?
Her name is Emma, but I always call her EE.
Emma? Emmerich?
Yeah, it just caught my eye, you know? I figured it was a coincidence, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. There's really no one out there who knows about her.
When was the last time you saw her?
Over 10 years ago.
You think it's a trap? To lure us out here?
I don't know. After I got the tip, I did break into the Pentagon system to get confirmation.
Okay.
Watch your back, Snake. Maybe I screwed up.
I've got a light-equipped USP. I can take them on now. There's no ammo, but it takes a 9mm, just like the Marines' M9. I'll find those somewhere around here.
Don't raise too much racket with that thing.
I hear you.
She's not dead, is she?
No, just knocked out.
Good.
Looks like a little angel, doesn't she?
What's gotten into you?
Nothing.
Sleeping Beauty may have been awakened by Prince Charming's kiss, but you better not try it here.
I'm with you. Besides, I've had enough of tomboys.
Hey, Snake, you found a handgun.
It's a decent one. USP.
The USP fires real bullets, not the knockout rounds the M9 uses. You know that, right? The USP isn't equipped with a suppressor either. If you fire it when there are enemies nearby, they'll probably hear it. Keep that in mind. Having the USP will make combat easier, but being undetected is still the best way to go, okay? Snake, that handgun of yours is a USP. The USP comes in a variety of calibers, from a 9mm to a 45. Yours is a 9mm with 15 rounds per magazine. It's also equipped with a flashlight for nighttime shooting. In the dark, select the USP and aim to turn on the light. Unlike the M9, the USP isn't suppressor equipped. The gunshots may bring enemy reinforcements running, so be careful. Snake, Metal Gear is in the holds below the tanker's deck. Go down. The Cypher's what it looks like. A flying surveillance saucer. It's an unmanned aerial vehicle used for ground and ocean surveillance, and it also assists in communication. It can take off and land vertically, and uses a ducted airstream from its rotors and the surrounding shroud to fly. The one you saw was the type used by the Army, if I recall. But I can't see the Army officially cooperating with a top-secret Marine Corps project.
No, which means that there's someone besides us and the Russians that are interested in the new Metal Gear prototype.
Cyphers can stay airborne for about 3 hours, so there should be an integrated mobile ground station controlling its flight pattern and output nearby. It's got to be on land. I'll bet you anything it's disguised as a regular truck or something, driving along Riverside. Let me check it out.
Good call.
Didn't think Gerlukovich was involved, of all people.
Ocelot's former CO, and a man with a private army of ex-Russian military and GRU soldiers. I don't like it.
And Liquid was planning to team up with that bunch at Shadow Moses.
All he managed to do back then was to provide a toy or two. Looks like he's had enough of sponsoring insurrections.
So this time he's out here himself. I guess he's after Metal Gear?
History repeats itself. Metal Gear has enough strategic clout to upset the balance of military power overnight. He must be dreaming of Mother Russia's return to glory.
Like you said, history repeats itself. Some people never change.
Maybe it's the world that doesn't, or won't, change.
Maybe. But we're fighting to upset the status quo too, aren't we? If it's about waist high, you'll be... Oh, you need to save? Just a second. Acquaintances agree, friends argue. That's a straightforward one. The better friends you are, the more openly you can disagree with each other. So feel free to present a counterpoint if you don't agree with what I'm saying. Argue away.
Sure, all right.
Not a promising start. Okay, forget what I said. Just go along with my advice.
Snake, I know you're into high places, but do you think maybe you can head down into the hold sometime this year? You're here to take those photos of Metal Gear, remember? These aren't sentries you're dealing with. They're searching for you, and they know you don't want to be found. You can't... You have the thermal goggles equipped, huh? They provide night vision by using variances in heat distribution to create an image. It uses a two-dimensional solid-state projection system to create high-res images at 60 FPS in real time. By using the thermal goggles, you can take a look at the enemy's neck to see if they have dog tags or not. Hey, Snake, you found a handgun. Okay, now, infiltrate the holds and get those photographs of the new Metal Gear. Head downstairs. So, who was that Olga person?
Dunno. I'm guessing she's Gerlukovich's daughter. She said nomads.
Didn't she, look a little like Meryl?
I didn't notice.
If you're spotted and it comes down to an exchange of gunfire, don't stand out in the open. Find cover ASAP. Strafe and stretch up from your concealed position to get a good shot on target while in first-person view. But if they come at you in droves, even you won't be able to fend them off. These aren't sentries you're dealing with. They're searching for you. Oh, you need to save? Just a second. Do you know the saying, one forgets the hurt once the wound is healed? And that, of course, means, where'd I put that piece of paper?
Did you say something?
No, nothing. Forgetting the pain when the wound's healed means, that you have to get better fast. Yeah, that's it. So stock up on those rations and bandages.
Is that really all it means?
Hey, I'm the expert here.
Freeze.
Huh? Don't kill me.
Freeze. Freeze.
Huh?
Snake, there should be a door into the holds in the northwest section of the engine room. Head west. Snake, there should be... Snake, there should be a door into the hole. Time to save? Snake, have you heard this one? Evil is human nature, and his entire being falseness. The concept of so-called original sin. The idea that you're born bad, so you can't help doing bad things.
Hold on. I thought the idea of original sin was that you had to work even harder at being good because you were born evil.
Well, yeah, that too. Very good, Snake.
Freeze. Freeze.
Just try to pull the trigger. Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Good. Freeze.
Don't kill me.
Snake, the engine room is full of solid structures. You could probably use them to get away when the enemy's chasing you. Use the hanging mode wisely. That's the engine room. You can see the tanker's engine in the middle there. The engine noise is pretty loud, but that means the enemy's hearing will be hampered too. The reason the ship's drive section is in the aft area is so that more oil tanks can be fitted into the middle part. A shortened propeller axle is another benefit. The simplification of the drive structure means a greater emphasis can be placed on hull strength. I see you have the grenade equipped. It's an anti-personnel frag grenade. Throw it at the enemy and the blast and fragments will take the enemy out. Watch out. Pushing the weapon button will pull out the pin. Release the weapon button to toss it. The throwing distance depends on how hard you push the weapon button. After pulling the pin, you'll have 5 seconds until the grenade explodes. Get familiar with changing the timing and throwing distance of the grenade before it goes off. Snake, Metal Gear is in the holds below the tanker's deck. Go down. Time to save? You know the story about Achilles in Paris? The moral here is, well, something about his heel. Anyway, even the great and virtually immortal hero Achilles was finally done in by Paris. Talk about a dangerous city. So don't get complacent. The mission can turn around and get you.
Wasn't Paris a person?
What?
Paris, I thought he was a...
Snake, there's a time and a place for conspiracy theories. Please, I'm trying to concentrate here.
Huh? Sorry. Freeze.
Repair of the entranceway to the engine room on the port side is complete. We'll return to position following patrol of the small room on the port side.
Snake, there's another set of infrared sensors in place. If you touch that, the explosives will detonate and that ship will be pulverized.
I'm not in the mood to go sleep with the fishes, but there are too many sensors. Looks like I'll have to find another way.
No need to worry. There's a way through. Take a close look. Do you see the thing with blinking green lights right next to the explosives? That's the control unit for the sensors. Destroy that, and the sensors stop functioning. You can't get in close enough to touch it, so you'll have to shoot it out. But the M9's knockout rounds won't work. The USP you picked up should do the trick. Use that gun.
Good.
Freeze.
No!
This reminds me of when we first met.
I was the one inside the locker that time. We're equal now, huh?
Not unless I wet my pants.
That's a low blow, Snake. If you open the locker, you can use the door as a cover during an exchange of gunfire. But of course, this is a pretty flimsy door. There are limits to how many bullets it can withstand. Don't count on it too much, okay? Push the action button once more to get out of the locker. You can see out from the slit in the door. Make sure you check the area using first-person view before you go out. Push the action button once.
Good.
I'm under enemy fire! Secure the perimeter!
Verrazano Bridge checkpoint passed. All non-essential personnel report to the holds in 10 minutes' time for the scheduled briefing session with the Commandant. You are ordered to continue manning your posts until that time.
Snake, the Metal Gear prototype is down in the holds. That corridor wraps around the holds. There are several doors into the holds from the corridor, but it looks like most of them are locked. But I think the farthest door isn't locked yet. You can get into the holds from the door at the end of that corridor. Head north. Shoot out the lights to darken the corridor. The enemy will have a harder time finding you. Snake, use the flashlight in dark places like this. Your USP is equipped with a flashlight. All you have to do is select the gun and aim it with the weapon button, and the light will go on. Not that I need to tell you this, but the light will turn you into a better target if there are enemies nearby. Be careful. If it's about waist high, you'll be able to climb up or... Select the grenade. You'll be less like...
Do you want to save, Snake? Do you know the saying, those who walk 100 leagues think not that their journey is half ended until the 90th league? That means... What does it mean? Okay, it means that if you're planning to walk that far, you better damn well know how to do simple arithmetic. Study, stay in school.
This seems to be getting more and more random.
Correction. It's becoming more deep. Trust me.
You can get into the holds from the door at the end of that corridor. Head south. You can also hide the enemy's body in a locker. All you have... Snake, if you sustain damage from enemy attacks, it could increase your chances of capture. The bloodstains would lead them right to you, and that's another reason you should stay away from trouble as much as possible.
Move the left stick toward a wall and keep it there to flatten yourself against the wall.
Push the punch button while in that position to knock on the wall and create a diversion. If you plan carefully, you'll be able to lure sentries away from their posts. You can also hide the enemy's body in a locker. All you have to do is open the locker and drag the body there.
Oh, Snake, you want to save? The Chinese have a proverb that goes, "Scholars hold in esteem knowledge, not acts." See, they just sit around thinking instead of actually doing something, which doesn't make them too useful. Action is what matters, I think.
Look, what I heard from Mei Ling was that...
Snake, have you noticed that you bring her up a lot?
Huh? That isn't the...
Here we go again. What am I gonna do with you?
Like I was saying...
You and your hyperactive libido. It's a good thing one of us can keep all the details straight.
We have sealed the stern hatch.
All right.
The lift is also under our control.
We're on the foredeck, about to descend to the holds.
Sir, the Marine Commander has started his speech already.
We will complete the preparations before the end of the speech.
All communications to the holds have been severed. No one is aware of our presence.
Let no one down into the holds until we are out.
Yes, sir. We will secure your exit with our lives if necessary.
There is one more thing.
Yes, sir.
My daughter, keep her safe.
Yes, sir.
Who goes there?
I don't think they're gonna let you into the hold so easily.
I'll have to stand my ground and fight. I can try a jump-out shot from corner view.
Good idea. If you go with jump-out shots, you can wait behind cover for the right time to get in a shot. Select your gun and flatten yourself against an object. Then switch to corner view. Hit the attack button to pop out and catch the enemy off guard. Let go of the attack button to get back behind cover. Wait for a lull in the enemy fire to strike. Snake, what if you run out of ammunition during an exchange of fire? Leaves you suddenly vulnerable, doesn't it?
That wouldn't happen with tactical reload.
So change the magazine before it becomes empty. That way you would never run out when you're actually facing the enemy.
Exactly.
To perform a tactical reload, unequip the gun, then equip it again. The gun should now be loaded with a fresh magazine. Use the quick change button, the R2 button for this one.
goes there? Oh, Shalashaska. Why are you here? We thought you were with the Colonel. What the...
The Colonel will be joining you soon, comrade.
Snake, are you in yet? Have you made it to the holds?
It's taking longer than I expected. We've already passed the Verrazano Bridge.
All right, we'll use another recovery point.
They may be planning to change course.
What?
The exits to the deck are all sealed.
What are they planning?
If they get Metal Gear, we're going right off the fringe.
You're all familiar with the Shadow Moses
The men down here are definitely Marines.
The current state of nuclear...
If the deck is sealed off, they have no way of knowing that the ship's been taken over.
I'm not interested in fighting these guys. The weapons won't do me much good here.
Can you see Metal Gear?
No. I'll have to go around to the bow. They have some serious defenses here. I doubt the recent arrivals want to blast their way through the Marines either.
Wonder where they're headed?
I don't know. Not the beach, that's for sure.
Okay, Snake. Let's go over this one more time. Use this camera to get photographic evidence of the Metal Gear prototype. Now do your thing and take pictures that speak louder than the government's plausible denials. We need 4 shots. Metal Gear from the front right, and front left, and a close-up of the Marine Corps marking.
Marking?
There should be a Marine's insignia on the body of Metal Gear. Just let someone try explaining away a clear shot of that.
All right.
There's actually one little thing.
Just spit it out. I'm used to things going wrong.
It looks like someone's monitoring our transmission.
Who?
I don't have a clue. All they're doing is watching. It would creep me out less if they tried to interfere with our communications.
Could it have something to do with that cipher we saw?
Maybe. I've switched the encryption protocol for our burst transmission for now. What I want to do is use a different method for sending these photos, just in case.
Instead of using the codec?
Exactly. There's a workstation in the southeast corner of the block where Metal Gear is housed. I've made arrangements so that you can send the pictures from the machine.
Arrangements?
I hitched a ride on Link 16 into US military's proprietary network. Managed to get into that workstation and overwrote a part of the system software so I could remote install a little app I wrote.
Why bother with anything that complicated?
No, it's pretty simple, really. Look, all you have to do is stand in front of the machine and push the action button. The app will automatically launch and download the image data from the camera, split the files, and encrypt them individually. The data packets can then masquerade as...
Okay. So all I have to do is push the action button in front of the computer once I have the pictures, right?
Well, sure, if you put it that way. And one more thing. The Commandant's already begun his speech, but you need to get the pictures before he's done talking. Otherwise, they'll spot you, okay?
How much time do I have?
I hacked into his personal files and took a look at the text of that speech. I'd say you have 7 more minutes. Longer if he throws in a joke or two.
A 7-minute time limit, huh?
Remember, Snake, just the photos, okay?
With these kinds of odds, I won't be making any sudden moves. But that doesn't mean we can just let Metal Gear be hijacked.
Okay, but first the photos.
All right, we'll deal with the rest when we get there.
Stay low.
At the moment, every industrialized nation on the globe knows the specifications for Metal Gear. Worse yet, so do a number of rogue states. They are all working on deploying their own Metal Gear force to compete with the US's nuclear strike capability. The world is about to see a swarm of these Metal Gear derivatives. We initiated development of Metal Gear Ray as a countermeasure to these pirated weapons forces. The only thing that can stand up to a Metal Gear is, of course, another Metal Gear. With Ray, the hundreds, if not thousands, of Metal Gears that exist all over the world are no longer a threat. The blind rush to nuclear proliferation will be contained, and it will be the Marine Corps and our Ray that will accomplish this.
Snake, the tanker's holds are divided into 3 separate blocks, and Metal Gear is in the farthest hold. You need to head north. You know the number you're up against. If you're spotted, there's no winning that fight. You have to stay out of their sight, okay? Snake, take those pictures before the Commandant finishes his speech. It's the only chance we've got. As soon as he finishes up, the Marines will go back to their posts. That's way too many pairs of eyes watching out for Metal Gear. There's no way they'll let an intruder with a camera slip past. Do what you have to before that happens. You absolutely can't let anyone see you in there. There are too many Marines in there to handle, even for you. If they see you, you're dead. Caution's the key word here. The Marine Corps' defining character is that of an emergency response team in crisis situations. But the Army's been steadily enlarging its own crisis response capabilities, building on the strength of their medium brigade. Analysis is that the Marine Corps sees this as an infringement on their own domain and is more than a little alarmed. We both know that Metal Gear Rex was being developed for deployment by the Army, so it does make sense that the Marines are trying to compete with their own version of Metal Gear. Snake, the tanker's holds are divided into 3 separate blocks, and Metal Gear is in the farthest hold. You need to head north. You know the number you're up against. If you're spotted, there's no winning that fight. You have to stay out of their sight, okay? You absolutely can't let anyone see you in there.
Do you want to save, Snake? This is my favorite Chinese saying. Better to be first among roosters than last among bulls. Of course, the meaning's clear. If you have to choose between being a chicken or a cow, pick the chicken. Cows are always being messed with by aliens. Cattle mutilations are up, you know. Why go looking for trouble, right? If an enemy spots you, you'll be in more trouble than a cow on a UFO. You stay out of their sight.
Why would aliens be in an old Chinese proverb?
Everyone knows they've been visiting us for thousands of years.
News to me.
This weapon will render all other Metal Gears obsolete. Nations building up their own Metal Gear force would think twice about their nuclear strategy in the light of the military dominance spelled out by Ray. The shift in the balance of power will mean a new world order, and we, the Marine Corps, will play a central role in its military affairs. Some say that the strategic importance of aircraft carriers will be reduced by the completion of Ray. The opposition from the Navy is an undeniable factor. Not to mention interference from a major player.
Snake, take those pictures before the Commandant finishes his speech. It's the only chance we've got. Snake, the tanker's holds are divided into 3 separate blocks, and Metal Gear is in the farthest hold. You need to head north. You know the number you're up against. If you're spotted, there's no winning that fight. You have to stay out of their sight, okay?
Do you want to save, Snake? Snake, do you know the Chinese proverb, care avoids error? Error is thought to be a Kung word, meaning what? There's some linguists who think that this accounts for an almost universal utterance of the syllable when people are at a loss for words. A kind of vestigial...
Hey! Ah! What a crock! What did you do with that little cheat sheet I made you? Oh, there it is. Hey!
That's really,
How could you do that? You know how busy I am and you...
It's not what you think.
Oh? So what am I thinking?
What's going on over there?
Oh, hi, Snake. Do you know that Otacon's been...
Mei Ling, we're in the middle of a mission and everything, so can we,
Fine. Sure. And Snake, the real meaning of care avoids error is that if you're cautious, you can avoid making serious mistakes. Even if you've gotten used to the mission, watch what you do. Good luck.
Yeah, Snake. Good luck.
You, I'm not done with. Let's discuss this, shall we?
But this project is vital to the Marine Corps. The enemy is sometimes closer to home than you think, gentlemen. Always bear that in mind. Ours is not the only military project devoted to Metal Gear development, but it cannot be more different in nature from the Navy's. Theirs is a program that will add fuel to the uncontrolled fire of nuclear proliferation. It is a fact that players in favor of such a policy are attempting to derail our own Raid project. But I promise you that they will not succeed. In the light of the military dominance spelled out by Raid, the shift in the balance of power will mean a new world order, and we, the Marine Corps, will play a central role in its military affairs. Some say that the strategic importance of aircraft carriers will be reduced by the completion of Raid. The opposition from the Navy is an undeniable fact. There is a lot of pressure from Navy brass, especially those with submarine and air background. Not to mention interference from a major player. But this project is vital to the Marine Corps. The enemy is sometimes closer to home than you think, gentlemen. Always bear that in mind. Ours is not the only military project devoted to Metal Gear development, but it cannot be more different in nature from the Navy.
What's going on? Snake! Snake!
Not to mention interference from a major player. But this project is vital to the Marine Corps. The enemy is sometimes closer to home than you think, gentlemen. Always bear that in mind. Ours is not the only military project devoted to Metal Gear development, but it cannot be more different in nature from the Navy's. Theirs is a program that will add fuel to the uncontrolled fire of nuclear proliferation. It is a fact that players in favor of such a policy are attempting to derail our own Raid project. But I promise you that they will not succeed. You must be Terrence. Let's do a little stretching, shall we? You're all familiar with the Shadow Moses incident during the Sears administration. The current state of nuclear proliferation is a direct result of that event.
Metal Gear.
I have a daughter, and it is my greatest wish never to have her or her children experience the horror of nuclear war.
Okay, we're finally there.
So, this is the new Metal Gear.
Yep, and we're gonna show the whole world its baby pictures. Get the prototype on camera. We need 4 images. One from the front right, the front, and the front left, and a close-up of the Marines marking on the prototype. Once you have the photos, use the workstation in the southeast end of the area to transmit them over to me. Send me something I can use. Once you've got the photos, use the workstation in the southeast end of that room to send them over to me. But if they aren't what we need, I'm gonna have to ask you to take another set. You absolutely can't let anyone see you in there. There are too many Marines in there to handle, even for you. If they see you, you're dead. Caution's the key word here.
As a father, I want to leave a better world for the future generation.
So, any codec moments from you, Snake? Okay, first up. It needs to be a little more clear. What we need is top-notch quality here. What's next? Isn't this that soldier on the deck, Olga? I can't believe you took a picture of her, all things considered. The next one's... It's almost right, but not quite. We can't use this. Okay, what am I seeing now? This is hilarious! This rules. But we can't use it. Get the shots we need. I'll just make a backup of this one. And the next one is... this is
What?
Nothing. It's nothing. But this isn't a photo of Metal Gear anyway. Sorry, but you're gonna have to go back and shoot another set. I'll just make a backup of this one. The last one is... Didn't think Gerlukovich was involved, of all people. We need 4 images. One from the front right, the front, and the front left, and a close-up of the Marines marking on the prototype. Get the prototype on camera.
As a soldier, I know that is my duty. Metal Gear Ray is amphibious. Unlike the Army's Rex, it can cruise deep underwater, move in undetected and make it landing on any shoreline. Its onboard joint tactical information distribution identifies targets with unerring accuracy and takes them out with massive firepower. It is the ultimate weapon. It is yours to guard. I'd like you all to think about what that means. This new model of Metal Gear is codenamed Ray, after the great Manta Ray. Our Ray has a sting that nature never gave the Manta. With this latest Metal Gear, we can rule the sea and land as we never have before.
Looks like I have your photos now. Let's take a look. The first one I'm seeing is... It needs to be a little more clear. What we need is top-notch quality here. The next image is... Hey, this is the Marine Commandant. Are you a fan or something? What's next? The Commandant again. Look, if you like him so much, I'll print this out and make a panel out of it. Put it over your bed or something. So, what's the last one gonna be? Will you please stop sending me pictures of the Commandant? We need 4 images. One from the front right, the front, and the front left, and a close-up of the Marines marking on the prototype. Get the prototype on camera.
George Sears surrendered his presidency in the aftermath of Shadow Moses. The official reason given did not, of course, include the development of Metal Gear Rex and next-generation nuclear warheads. We have intelligence that there are anti-Metal Gear terrorists planning to target the ship. Intruder to the left!
Good.
Intruder in the back! Intruder to the right! Should that actually happen, I expect you to be prepared. We cannot and will not give up Ray. Stay on your guard at all times. Let's continue. But even you will have heard rumors that he was forced to resign after the failed cover-up cost him his influence in the political community. The Metal Gear Rex development on Shadow Moses was supposedly the first preparatory measure taken against the future possibility of reduced nuclear defense capability. NMC technology leaked to other nations would make that contingency likely. But if this theory is correct, it means that there was a calculated intent to cash in on this opportunity by specific interests within the military-industrial complex. We are here today to flush out and rid our country of these corrupting forces. That is our mission. You will bear that in mind. The proliferation and development of
Looks like I have your photos now. Let's take a look. Okay, first up. This is great. The Marines lettering shows up really well. Okay, what am I seeing now? Okay, this works. It's a great front view. And the next one is... You're a pretty good photographer. We can definitely use this left shot. What's next? We don't need another one from the left. The last one is... Okay, that's good. The shot from the right is in the bag. Okay, now we have all the photos. Snake, the speech is about to wind up. Forget the photos and get out of there now.
we, the Marines, will lead the charge into a new world order with Metal Gear Ray. That is all. Dismissed.
Excellent speech, my friend.
Who the...
Gift of the silver tongue. They say it's the mark of a good officer. And of a liar. Americans are too in love with the sound of their own voice to speak the truth.
Identify yourself.
I am Shalashaska, also called Revolver Ocelot.
What do you want?
This machine will be quite useful.
What are you planning to do? Steal this thing?
Steal? No, I'm taking it back. Gerlukovich. Nobody move. Understood? This ship now carries enough Simtex on its key structural points to blow it out of the water at the touch of this button. That's right. No one has to die needlessly. We're almost at the target. Get a move on.
What do you intend to do with Gray? Sell it on the streets?
I was raised in Snezinsk, formerly known as Chelyabinsk 70, the nuclear research outpost.
What are you talking about?
After the Cold War ended, my home was bought out by the Americans.
Is there a point to this sad story?
Now you would understand. Land, friends, dignity, all sold to the highest bidder, the United States of America. Even the technology that gave birth to these weapons is Russian, developed by us.
What do you intend to do?
Russia will rise again. And Ray is the key.
I regret to inform you that I have no intention of selling Metal Gear. As I said, I came to take it back. Yes, returned to the Patriots.
The Lale Lule Lo? How's that possible?
Ocelot, have you sold us out?
I was never in your employ, Gerlukovich.
Are you still in league with Solidus?
No hard feelings, Colonel. Mother Russia can rot for all I care.
Since when, Ocelot? When did you turn?
I'm glad you noticed, comrade. I abandoned her during the Cold War.
Ah!
Metal Gear only has room for one! Gerlukovich, you and your daughter will die here.
Damn you!
Sergei, looks like you were long overdue for retirement.
Stop!
Show's over. If you wish to live, I suggest you run now. This ship is still in the lower New York harbor. You may yet make it to shore if you swim for your life.
It's been a while, brother.
Who are you?
You know who I am.
Liquid?
Not so young anymore, eh, Snake? You're drowning in time. I know what it's like, brother. No wonder Naomi passed you over for the Fox Dive program.
Ouch! Get out of my mind, Liquid!
The price of physical prodigy. Few more years and you'll be another dead clone of the old man. Our raw materials are vintage, brother. Big Boss was in his late 50s when they created his copies. But I live on through this arm!
Liquid's arm.
Have what it takes after all! You're going down, Snake, with this tanker!
location we discussed. Yes, I have photographic evidence of Snake on the scene. The cipher was most useful. I look forward to tomorrow morning's news flash. I would say the Marine Corps' plans are on indefinite hold. Yes, of course, Mr. President.